Christian Cooper is a Harvard graduate, a pioneering comic book writer, and a biomedical editor for health science communications. But a lot of America was introduced to him this week as a black man who asked a woman in New York Central Park to leash her dog while he was trying to birdwatch. And it was met with this response.
Sir, I'm asking you to stop recording me.
Please don't come close to me.
Please take your phone off.
Please don't come close to me.
And I'm taking a picture and calling the cops.
Please call the cops. Please call the cops.
I'm going to tell them there's an African-American man threatening my life. There is an African-American man. I am in Central Park. He is recording me and threatening myself and my dog. I'm being threatened by a man in the ramble. Please send the cops immediately.
So joining us from New York is Christian Cooper, and from LA, his sister Melody, who posted the video that went viral. Welcome to both of you. I mean, you're walking in Central Park on Monday. You come across a woman and her dog, and the dog is not leashed, supposed to be on a leash. So take us from that moment forward.
Sure. The Ramble is an area of Central Park which is protected because there's a lot of wildlife there and a lot of delicate plantings. So it's posted all over the Ramble that dogs are supposed to be on the leash at all times. But unfortunately, we've had a problem with this for many, many years, and people think, well, you know, it doesn't really apply to me. So we've been fighting for a while to get enforcement. So I'm walking through the park, and this dog is tearing through the plantings. And so I say to the woman, excuse me, ma'am, but, you know, dogs in the Ramble have to be on the leash at all times. The sign is right there next to you. And she's like, yeah, but, you know, where the dog runs are closed and he needs his exercise. I'm like, okay, I get that, but you can take him across the drive to this other part of Central Park, right over there, and you can let him run off leash all you want outside the Ramble until 9 a.m. She's like, yeah, but that's too dangerous. And I'm like, yeah, it devolved from there until finally a lot of us have been recording these incidences of scofflaw behavior regarding the leash laws. And so I pulled out my phone to document it so that we would have, you know, some evidence of what's going on in the Ramble. And she didn't like that. She didn't want to be recorded. And I was pretty adamant that as long as the dog was off the leash, I was going to keep recording. So that's when she said, if you keep recording me, I'm going to call the police and tell them an African-American man is threatening my life. And I'm like, whoa.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah. So, you know, at that point, I was faced with a decision. Do I capitulate to that attempt to use race to leverage what she wanted? Or do I sort of stick to my guns and keep recording? And I really kind of decided consciously I'm not going to participate in my own dehumanization. I'm going to just keep doing what I'm doing as if I'm anybody else. And she's going to have to do what she's going to do. And that's what happened.
Yeah.
Joy. Right,
so,
Joy.
Yeah, Melody, you posted this video on your Twitter page and it went viral and created quite a stir. Tell me, what is your reaction or your response to the fact that the video has received so much attention? It's all over the place. And the girl has lost her, the woman has lost her job also. And what was your response to all of that?
Well, I was shocked. I'm fairly political on Twitter, but when I saw my brother's video, it was personal, and I just imagined what happened to Mike Brown or George Floyd happening to him, and I wanted to make sure no other black person would have to go through that kind of weaponization of racism from her, and I wanted to shine light on it. And there's been a response from around the country, around the world. And for me, what's important is that there's a discussion about this now, and it did shine a light on the problem, which is, you know, what I wanted to have happen in the first place. And this kind of racism can kill people. You know, it could have killed my brother. And there were comments about his education and his job as being part of the reason why there's been such a big response. I mean, and I understand that because every black life is important and is valuable, but if the cops showed up, they wouldn't have seen his resume or known his job, you know, if they put him in a chokehold or shot him.
Megan?
Well, Christian, since the video was released, Amy has lost her job. Her dog was taken away by the shelter that she adopted it from, and she says she has been getting death threats. You have said that you're conflicted about what's happening to her. Can you tell us why?
I mean, first of all, about the death threats, I've been unequivocal about that ever since I found out she was getting them. It's abhorrent, and it is contrary. If you think that what she did was wrong, that she was trying to bring death by cop down on my head, then there is absolutely no way you can justify then turning around and putting a death threat on her head. So that's got to stop. That's not acceptable. Everything else that's happened to her, you know, I'm uncomfortable with defining someone by a couple of seconds of what they've done. You know, it was a stressful situation. You know, she had a moment of very poor judgment. No excusing that it was a racist act, because it was a racist act. But does that define her entire life? I don't know. Only she can tell us if that defines her entire life by what she does going forward and what she's done in the past. I can't answer that. So, you know, the frenzy makes me uncomfortable.
Well,
Sonny?
Christian, Amy has issued an apology that said, in part, I want to apologize to Chris Cooper for my actions when I encountered him in Central Park. She says, I reacted emotionally and made false assumptions about his intentions when, in fact, I was the one who was acting inappropriately by not having my dog on a leash. I hope that a few mortifying seconds in a lifetime of 40 years will not define me in his eyes, and that he will accept my sincere apology. Do you accept her apology?
I do accept her apology. It's a first step. I think she's got to do some reflection on what happened, because, you know, up until the moment when she made that statement and made that phone call, it was just a conflict between a birder and a dog walker. And then she took it to a very dark place. And I think she's got to sort of examine why and how that happened. And I want to move it a little bit beyond her, because it's not really about her and her poor judgment in a snap second. It's about the underlying current of racism and racial perceptions that has been going on for centuries, and that permeates this city and this country, that she tapped into. And so that's what we really have to address, you know, not the specifics of her, but why are we still plagued with that, and how do we fix it?
Well, it is systemic. I'm not going to lie. I had a whole big thing to say, but I just want to say thank you for coming, both of you. And, you know, maybe we'll make a better person. Maybe this will all make a better person, and maybe it starts with one person at a time.